Welcome everyone for coming, and we have a special guest this evening, County Executive Kittleman. Thank you for coming and supporting the Elkridge High School Task Force. And, I know we're really excited to get moving since this will be the first time we'll be looking at the report, draft of the report this evening. So why don't we, does anybody have any questions as far as the August 21st meeting?
The minutes that were circulated.
Mm-hmm. No? All right, then I will make the motion to approve the minutes. Can I get someone a second?
Second.
Jose, second. All in favor? All right. They have been approved. All right. So and of course, you know what, I did not bring my glasses tonight, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me there. One of the things I wanted to do this evening is clarify the process for the task force, because we've had some questions about that. So at this time, the task force is in the process, like I said, of reviewing, which we'll be doing this evening, the first draft of the report. And we're going to spend this evening during closed session editing, amending the report based on input from the task force members. We are, as far as the timeline that we're looking at, we're scheduled to meet again on October 1st for our regular meeting, and then if the report does not need any further changes or amendment, we'll submit it to County Executive Kittleman. Once he receives the document, and he has informed the task force that he will make the report available to the public. So the official presentation of the report will be made to the county executive. We have on the calendar on October 24th.
If I can share something about that, I heard
Sure.
that there was some concern about that. We did talk to the Office of Law, and they're the ones that said to me that they thought it should be remain closed, private, the report, until it comes to me. And then I have the discretion to let it out or not. And so I wanted you to know, that's actually the main reason I came tonight, because I can't stay very long anyway, is to let you know it will undoubtedly be made public as soon as it comes to me. But that's what they're saying, how the process should be. You guys should do it as a closed report to me, private report, and once I get it, then I have the discretion to make it public, and I think the public should see it. And so I wanted you to know that'll happen once I get it. So after the 24th, whenever, if that works out that way, I'll review it and let it go public as soon as I can. The other thing I want to let you know, if I could real quickly, just I want you to know that I appreciate how much you've been going through this, and I know that it's been difficult. I know that a lot of you, oh my gosh, Shamarelli's here. I know that it's not an easy thing to do. I know there are a lot of people with different opinions and different thoughts, and people in your community talking to you about different ideas, and I appreciate that you guys were taking the time to do this. It's really important for us to be ahead of the game. I know there's been some discussion that in the Board of Education's tenure plan, there isn't a plan already for high school coming, but I mean, if they can change it, that'd be great, but I think we still need to make sure we know when that time comes, so we're not like talking about where's it going to be. And that's why this is so important. So whoever is county executive next, hopefully will have your recommendation and be able to move forward as soon as that time comes. And that was my goal. And so I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It has been easy, and I know it hasn't been easy, and I appreciate Sandy taking on the role as chair. I'm not sure she knew what she was getting into, but I appreciate it. So more than anything else, I do have another commitment, and I know you're going to go to closed session soon anyway. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate what you've done. And that is not being done, it's being taken very seriously what your recommendation is going to be. And so serious that I think it's important for the public to be able to see it too. And then we can have even more discussion if they want. But anyway, so that's all. I just want to make sure you do that.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much public interest in it, so I appreciate
Yeah.
you being willing to release it. 'Cause
And I
I was a little worried that it was going to be this sort of black box, and then nobody would ever know.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that was part of it until I heard, and so that's why I really want to reach out to Sandy and to you and let you know that that's farthest thing from my desire. My desire is to have this be as public process as can be. I understand the also law, when I talk to members of the also law, like, well, this isn't, looking at prime property, you don't necessarily want everything as you're doing negotiations. I mean, I understand all of that, but this is too important. And so I just want you to know that that's not going to be an issue for me. And as soon as the Office of Law, Gary Cook looked at me and says, well, it's your discretion. I said, well, it's done.
That's
That's done. It didn't take very long to decide that. But I was worried he was going to come to me and say, no, you legally can't do it. Then I'd be a little struggle for me. But it was up to my discretion. There really wasn't any thought process there. It was an easy call. So.
Hey, Alan, another of the conspiracy theorist comments is Elkridge is going to get screwed again. It's just going to be a report that's going to go on the shelf, and that this is just a political game. Do you have a perspective about that sort of?
Yeah, I think what's helpful by making it public means it also be public for the Board of Education.
Uh-huh.
And the Board of Education can have that recommendation as well as I have it, and then they can say, okay, here's where the community has spoken, and as we're looking to go move forward, we have one site, two site, whatever you guys do, three site, whatever you guys bring out to us, to be looking at. And so I think I'll make sure that when we make it public, I'll actually send a copy to the Board of Education. So there's no conspiracy that we're just keeping this on the side here. And then if the Board of Education wants to do something differently, we can talk about it as well. So
I
this-
think a lot of people don't understand that the Board of Education, needs to request a site, and then the county buys the site. And so the collaborative, this isn't a county executive decision or a Board of Ed decision. The Board of Ed has to request money to go buy that land.
Yeah, I mean, and we all know that happened last decision, and then the same is actually true with Turf Valley. I mean, we have the land now, Turf Valley, we have almost the agreement all ready to go, and I knew it was on the agenda for the Board of Education to tell us, yes, we want that, and so technically, we cannot go to closing without the Board of Education saying they want it. We can still go through the process of working everything out, and we're pretty close to a finalized deal with them, but we also would like the Board of Education to officially say, yes, we want that site. But Anant is exactly right, it's not, the county shouldn't and buy land for schools if school systems say they don't want it. That doesn't make any sense at all. So that's why it's important that your report be made public to them. And they'll see those, and then they'll have that available when it's time to come for them to make a decision on that. But also I think it's important because depending, again, I don't know what your recommendation is, but depending upon the sites that you guys recommend or the sites you recommend, it might take a while to negotiate. And it might take a while to go to the property and say, hey, you have several years, so let's figure out how we can maybe work this out over a longer period of time. I mean, it gives us a lot more options if we have it early. So.
Yeah, so for those of us who care about an Elkridge High School, this is just the first step, and then, leveraging the Board of Education and the next county executive together.
Yeah.
I mentioned one thing that involves the Board of Education and High School 14, that it is not currently in the capital improvement plan. And that we're hoping that with an adjustment in the way that the numbers are generated, the student yields are generated, that kind of thing, it will show the definite need for High School 14. But one of the things we've been told by the Board of Education is we need to ask our other elected officials to make sure the funding is there. That they don't want to put a high school in capital plan when they know that they're not going to have any funding for it. So that we need to know from our county officials and our state government electeds as well that they are willing to start the process of funding, even though it's 10 years away, even if it's 10 years away, start the process of funding this planning phase.
I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, I doubt that you would put money in until after the 13th high school is built. I don't think there's any way you can put money for two high schools at the same time. It's just not going to happen. And so there is time for that to happen. But it certainly, to me, I'm not on the Board of Education, Ananta is. I mean, I think you can put things in a long-range plan. That's 10 years before that budget's even going to be adopted. I mean, you can put that as this is what you want to do. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to say we can't put something in that 10 years from now because this current county council or this county executive, when they won't even be in office probably when it comes, have not said that they'll fund it. I mean, I don't think that's the way. I think they should be planning for what they need, and then when time comes to fund it, then we have the discussion of whether we fund it. I don't think they should say no, we're not going to put anything in until we hear from the state that they're going to fund something 10 years from now. I just have a hard time with that because that'd be hard for no governor would be able to say that because you can't find a future council or future governor or anybody. And so the one thing I would tell you I think we should do is work with our state delegation to make sure that we get the funding that we should get for construction projects. Because, we're considered a very wealthy jurisdiction, and sometimes they don't give us as much as they give other counties. And I think that's what time makes it frustrating to me, that we should be getting more. I mean, we pay an awful lot in state taxes, and we're definitely a giver of taxes to the state, not as much a receiver. It'd be nice to figure out if they could change some of those formulas that would help us. I know that's been some discussion about that. I know that Councilman Fox says it oftentimes. We are taxed pretty high in our county. I mean, we're at the maximum income tax, we can't go any higher. And our property tax is one of the highest around, we added with the fire tax. But there are other jurisdictions that don't, and they get more money from the state than we do. Percentage. That's really not fair. If we're willing to have our citizens invest, we should require them to have their citizens invest too. We shouldn't be penalized because we're willing to invest more, because another jurisdiction don't. So I think that's a whole with the Kerwin Commission and everything, that's got to be part of the discussion. It's not fair to counties that are investing a lot to be penalized because they do. That's all. I think that's a bigger discussion with the state than we do now. Okay. Anyway, I thank you very much. I'm going to let you guys do whatever you got to do with your closed session, and I look forward to seeing you in October. Okay, thank you all. I'll see you all. Take care. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
See you.
So we know if there's anybody else coming, they can't get in.
I think this is it. Robert said he can come.
Yes, Robert.
I couldn't get in the front door, I had to wait for somebody.
From these doors or those doors?
Those
I
doors
think
right
there's
there.
only one.
Yeah, it's on the right.
So I had to put my eyes and look up.
You just had to try multiple doors.
You just had to try, you had to keep it going.
Can you sell real estate?
He's looking for the locked door.
Has nothing to do with opening doors.
I was going to say, it's all the other stuff. The doors, those are just
The
second.
doors are part of the package.
All right, so moving on. Looking at the task force role in the county executive's decision, we're kind of talking a little bit about that. Just to review, this task force is made up of citizens. We're tasked as a public body with submitting recommendations as outlined, and we're bound by the executive order in the form of this report to the county executive. Once the task force final report is presented to the county executive for review, it is up to him to decide what to do with that report. Anything discussed by the task force during open session is permissible to be discussed with members of the public in an informal setting. However, if there's a discussion between members of the public and a certain number of task force members that constitutes a quorum, like we are here, this would be considered an open meeting, and an agenda would need to be set, proper public notice given, etc. So also just in closed session, any matter discussed during closed session is not to be discussed outside the meeting unless the task force votes to move the matter for discussion in open session. I just thought we would review all that. Any questions? Okay, so looks like we are going to be moving into closed session. Is there anything in session?
Yes, we need to do a whole rigmarole thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion.
Motion.
Okay. Let me read this one.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we?
So we would be,
You want to just check the motion?
we would be closing under Article 15, but before that,
You can, since you're.
Article 3, so yeah, so we'd be closing under Article.
Okay, so this meeting will be closed under general provisions. 3, to consider the acquisition of real estate property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto. And Article 13, sorry, I don't have my glasses, to comply with specific constitutional, statutory, or judicially imposed requirements to prevent public disclosures about particular proceeding or matter. Motion to go into the session. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. All right, we are now back in open session. It looks like next up is October 1st. We're going to review the updated draft that we went over this evening. And then on October 24th, we will present the final recommendation to the county.
Do we have a meeting scheduled, like do we have a time or something that we should put on our calendars?
For October 24th?
Yeah.
I put the same time, 6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, okay.
But it would be at the,
TBA for a location,
Oh, to
but
be
I
determined,
imagine
okay.
it would be at the Groshauer building.
right.
Or I mean, it probably wouldn't be out of character for him to want to meet you wherever you want.
Are you going to send everybody a calendar invite once we confirm the location?
Yes.
They're not gonna delete it, what you said?
No, I'm sorry.
October, I'm sorry.
Did he choose that date, or did you choose that date?
That was a date available on his calendar, so and I made this reservation in July. And I had to sell my first child for it, so,
On the 24th,
yeah.
who's coming?
Yeah, the county executive.
Sandy, when and where is the October 1st meeting?
Back at the library.
It's at the library, I believe. We booked
Yes.
that.
Would we like to meet with the executive before the 24th if this report is done
Yes.
soon?
I would.
I would just
Okay.
encourage you to ask us.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing on the first? We have an agenda for that yet. I have another board meeting at the same time.
I think the first is just gonna be going over the revised draft.
Okay.
But you're gonna have done by tomorrow.
Yeah, well, right. Well, I'm gonna have my part, but I think then there are gonna be pieces that Andrew wanted to go back to also, so.
We're going to take the numbers out of this.
All right, any other questions, comments? No?
Are we, yeah, sorry, are we giving edits on the current draft, or are we waiting for a revised draft to make the edits?
So I was gonna do his current draft,
Okay,
and then, I don't know, then Andrew, do you wanna take, I mean, I think we should just kind of speak up.
Everyone's, yeah, everyone's.
Version control, everybody says, I'm taking it next, so that nobody else
Yeah.
starts making edits in the same document.
Mhm.
So I'm going first, and I will send it, and then let's assume that Andrew will go next unless someone else chimes in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of I forget the words, but just to maintain some kind of continuity. Just to, yeah, if you could just share your edits, that's all.
Okay.
The words are escaping me, they're really stupid right now.
No.
well, I think you went and you had it, and then Renee has, unless you're gonna provide it, you have some like more, because you have those sentences. Right. Versus just grammar, after she's done, I don't think I'll have.
But now the information that you're going to dig up, you're going to get to Dawn anyway. That's going to be part of your,
That's what.
Either to me or to Andrew.
I think it would be easier if everyone just sent me their information and their edits. and
Okay, so
then-
you're gonna be the keeper of the, okay.
Yes, I mean, and just because this is still a confidential document,
Right.
it would just.
Rather than
yeah,
replying all every time.
Exactly,
Okay,
it would
great.
just maintain some sort of, what is escaping me? It's some sort of continuity, but that's not the word I want. To just send it all back to one person.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want to use control, but
No, that's fine.
That's a good word.
So we're not waiting, we're not sequencing it, we're all simultaneously just
Sending it to
reviewing
Andrew.
and sending it to you, it will
correct,
merge.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
All right, motion to close the meeting,
Second?
To adjourn.
to adjourn, sorry. All garbage.
I'll second that one too.
All in favor? All right, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.